Basketball, man.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball podcast brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball. Today we're going to be looking back at all the action from Martin Luther King Day in the NBA, 11 games on Monday, and then previewing the 4 games for Tuesday. Michael Bolton.
Let's get to it.
All right, let's get to it indeed. We will start where we always do on these shows.
Monstrous line of the night.
Yes, the monstrous line of the night. It was a tough one today. It does end up going to Kyrie Irving of the Boston Celtics, who almost had an unconventional triple-double. 26 points in 34 minutes for Kyrie. He had 10 assists, he had the 3 rebounds, but 8 steals. 8, that's fantastic. 1 block and 58% from the field on 19 attempts. He could have been a little bit better from the line, going just 2 of 3 there. But I don't think we'll really complain too much about Irving, who is the 6th ranked player over the last month. The shooting has been unbelievable, 55% from the field over those last 13 games. In fact, for the season, he is over 50% from the line. A true shooting of 61%. He's giving you 1.7 steals, which is so far and away better than anything he's done in his career. The last 3 years, 1.1, 1.2, and 1.1 steals. So he is way up there this season in terms of those steal numbers. The assists are a career high as well, almost 7 assists per game. He has just been an absolutely studly investment. If you took him probably 3rd round, you could have got Kyrie in a lot of scenarios, and he is returning pretty comfortable first round value at the moment. The next one.
Waiver wire line of the night.
There's going to be a very significant Dallas Mavericks theme with the rest of these awards today. The waiver wire line of the night goes to Wes Matthews of the Dallas Mavericks, who turned in really a fantastic game. 15 points and then a whole bunch of peripheral numbers. 3 threes, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, but most importantly, 3 steals and 4 blocks. 6 of 14 from the field for Matthews. Now, Wes is just barely inside the top 140 for this season. These sort of defensive numbers are far and away not sustainable. For the year, he has had just 34 steals and 11 blocks, and 4 of those 11 blocks came in today's game. So he is under a steal per game and under half a block per game. So that's nothing we can rely upon there. What he is he is a 3-point streaming sort of a guy who offers you help in the 3-pointers category, but no help anywhere else, apart from his free throws. But even then, he doesn't get to the line all that much. So he's really more of a 14-team league guy and the occasional stream in 12 teams. But today, he was bloody fantastic because those defensive numbers are pretty hard to come by. The deep leaguer of the night goes to his teammate, Dorian Finney-Smith, who played 33 minutes, had 13 points with 3 triples, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He is not a good fantasy player in general, just inside the top 200 this season, and his ranks over the last couple of months have been worse outside the top 200 over the last 2 months because his role has reduced in that time. He doesn't really do anything well, doesn't hit threes well, doesn't shoot well, doesn't get to the line, doesn't hit those, doesn't rebound, definitely doesn't get assists. This was just a strong performance and one that I think we should pretty much disregard unless you're in a 20-team or deeper sort of league. But strong performance from FinneySmith, who's had a couple of these, but then he goes back and does nothing the majority of the time. The next award.
Young Gun of the Night.
Yes, it is another member of the Dallas Mavericks, and this time it's Luka Doncic of the Mavericks, who had his first NBA triple-double, 33 minutes, 18, 11, and 10 with 2 triples, 1 steal, and a block on 6 of 17 shooting and 4 of 5 from the line. So I really like the fact that those free throws went in for the first time really this season, where he struggled from the line, but he has been ridiculous. A top 50 guy this year. I think he finishes the season in the top 50 and can have sort of a top 40 stretch from here on out. But so much as that is going to depend on whether those free throws can get right or not. We're not sure about that. He moved off the ball in this game. He'd been playing a lot of point guard, but with the burner Jalen Brunson starting, he moved off ball, still had the 10 assists, so it didn't really matter. That's his second double-digit assist game in the last 5 contests. So really putting up the strong numbers, Doncic, and has been a solid investment if you happened to draft him, which would have been pretty good luck from you to get your hands on such a start, especially in a dynasty format. Next, we go to the next award of the night, or the last award of the night.
till a man's not hot.
And it is another member of the Dallas Mavericks because Harrison Barnes was shit. He was really, really bad. 31 minutes, 8 points on 15 shots. He was 4 of 15 from the field, 3 rebounds and an assist. No steals, no blocks, no triples, and he missed both of his free throws. The pencil is outside the top 120 this season, and over the last month, he's 140th, and the last 2 weeks, 219th. So in a 10-team league, you move on from Harrison Barnes. I don't think you need to hold him. In a 12-team league, now, if you honestly appraise your roster, is he your worst guy? Because if he is, that means he's droppable, and that means he can be moved on if you want to take a flyer on Ivica Zubac or Ante Zizic, perhaps, as a short-term flyer. Ken Fareed in Houston, you just use that spot. Patrick Beverley to stream for the week for the Clippers. He just isn't good. The usage is well down with Doncic around, fair enough. He hasn't been able to combat that with an increase in efficiency. In fact, that's dropped down the field goals from 45% down to 41%. He is hitting his threes nicely, but he gets no assist. 1 assist per game is disgusting. 0.7 steals, 0.2 blocks, 4 rebounds. DeAndre Jordan has seen to that being decreased, which was always a huge possibility. And if you did take him at your at his ADP, which I believe was in the 70s on some sites, and you are absolutely been burnt pretty hardcore. And I think you probably need to consider cutting your losses at this stage because I don't really see a path for it getting better for the pencil at this stage. And that's disappointing, but this is why this guy is not a good fantasy player, because when the scoring goes away, then there's nothing else to supplement it because the minutes are there. There's just nothing else happening with his numbers. The plus-minus goats of the day. The best net rating went to Mo Harkless. Didn't play that much, but was really strong, plus 101.6, while the worst net rating went to the Wizard, Omari Spellman, negative 125.7 for the Hawks in their loss against the Magic. I still think Spellman can be an interesting stash type guy for the rest of the season if Dedmon does happen to get traded, but for now he's going to struggle along and probably not provide value for maybe a couple more weeks would be my guess with him. Let's look at some injury news. DeAndre Ayton hurt his ankle. He is doubtful for the next game, so a potential huge opportunity for Richaun Holmes, who himself is questionable. Luke Cornett sprained his ankle today. We'll talk about the Knicks in a second, but Cornett's probably worth an add in a lot of different formats. Kevin Huerter didn't play today. He was a late scratch with a neck injury. That doesn't appear to be a serious injury, while Carmelo Anthony, the news that everyone wants to hear about, he was traded to the Chicago Bulls along with cash. Still no report about what the Bulls were sending back. It's probably one of those fake second rounders, like top 55 protected second rounders, and the Bulls will not be using him. They haven't waived him. They're going to see if they can try and do something before the trade deadline. A large amount of people, well, and by large I mean more than zero, tweeted at me saying that they picked up Carmelo Anthony after this news. I don't know why. He's not good. He had opportunities last season in Oklahoma City, wasn't good. Opportunities in Houston this season, wasn't good. He hasn't played since the 8th of November. Nobody has made a trade to get him. The one team that did make a trade to get him did it for purely financial reasons, and they won't play him. They're going to be holding him hostage as well. And while I don't agree with this whole scenario of how things have panned out for Melo, it is disappointing for him, no doubt. I can't see him waltzing into any sort of team and, well, all right, Melo's here. He's going to play 30 minutes a night now, and he's going to be a useful fantasy guy. This guy has not shot 36% from 3 for 5 consecutive seasons. He does nothing else apart from score and does that inefficiently. He's too slow defensively to be on the court. He just isn't going to get enough minutes. Like, what team is he going to that he's going to come in and play 30 minutes a night? I don't see the fit. I don't see the scenario where this is happening. And say he goes to the Lakers, say he goes to the Warriors, for example, after he gets bought out or whatever happens with the Bulls, what's he going to come in and do? Play 20 minutes a night? 18 minutes a night? Your league would want to be pretty deep to really consider Carmelo Anthony at this point. And disappointing for this guy, who is a all-time great of the game, a Hall of Fame type player. He just doesn't have it anymore. It's simple as that. Players get old and they're not good anymore. And that's exactly where we are at with Carmelo Anthony, unfortunately, for him and his legions of fans who I'm sure no doubt some of them will find this clip and tweet at me, and I look forward to that response. Let's go on to these games now, these 11 games from Martin Luther King Day. The first game was the Oklahoma City Thunder smacking the Knicks 127-109. Paul George was great, 31 with 4 triples. Well, Abdul Nadir, he got really hot in the third quarter, I believe it was, had 16 points in total in 20 minutes with 2 triples and 2 steals. He's played his way into a regular rotation spot, has Nadir, but once or if Robertson comes back, he's probably on the chopping block, either him or MC Hamidou Diallo, and this sort of scoring output is not a realistic proposition for him. Dennis Schroeder scored 17 in 29 minutes. He's just hanging on to that back-end 12-team league value. He struggles in a lot of categories, and I wouldn't classify him as a must-roster guy, while Westbrook actually shot the ball from the field and the line, and Jeremy Grant did his thing. 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks for Granty there. Not much else really happening with that Thunder team. But let's talk Knicks. Before the game, Enes Kanter was informed that he was demoted to third string. He didn't think he would play. And while I do shit on Fizdale a lot, and I will continue to do so, and I'll do so in recapping this game, I think it's a little bit unfair to destroy him for having the third string centre play more minutes than the first and the second string. Because when you look at the box score, you go, what is this bullshit? 19 minutes for Kanter, Robinson played 16 minutes, and Cornette played 7 minutes. Well, Cornette got hurt, he sprained his ankle, and Robinson fouled out. So I don't think we can really blame him for getting Kanter into the game. But what this does signify, and I mentioned this weeks ago, that Kanter is going to be out of the rotation, and when Cornette is healthy, Kanter won't play. That's on most nights, he won't play. Now, we don't know what Cornette's injury situation is, so if you've got Kanter, I'd probably hold off on dropping him just yet, because Robinson can't stay out of foul trouble, so there's probably 25, 26 minutes there for Kanter, but then they'll go away. And I don't know, again, like Melo, what team is he going to if he's bought out or traded where he's commanding 26 minutes a night? That might be hard for him to find. It's probably easier for him to find it than it is for Melo, but it might be hard there. Timmy Hardaway, just 27 minutes again, played well, 23 points and 3 assists, but he's just not getting the minutes. I still think if you can, after this game, I'd be trying to sell the shit out of him. If you could sell him high, any sort of top 80 type of player, I'd be doing that. While Emmanuel Mudiay, here's my criticism of Fizzer. Like, what are you doing? 18 minutes now for Mudiay, 30 for Ntilikina. Can you just make up your mind for 1 second? 14 points for Mudiay, 55% shooting, while Ntilikina had 9, 2, and 5. Switching back to Frank here, I don't know why we've made that decision in this one. It wasn't like Mudiay had any foul trouble because he accumulated exactly 0 fouls in this game. So again, it's a situation to watch. Mudiay had been putting up nice value, especially in points leagues, but if this is what's going to happen, then the value goes. Let's talk about Alonzo better than Doncic Trier, who had 16, 6, and 8 with 2 steals in 30 minutes. His minutes were bumped in this game. No idea why. Mario Hezonja's minutes were dropped down. I've got no problem with Trier getting these minutes. He's been a little bit up and down. He's not really a 12-team league guy. While Robinson played 16 minutes, it's Mitchie Robinson, had 2 blocks, hit all 4 of his shots, 8.6 rebounds. If you want to grab someone in a 12-team league, that's fine. It looks like he's going to be at least pushing towards 20, 21 minutes a night. The forward, Kevin Knox, was piss poor, 8 points in 27 minutes with 5 fouls, limiting his playing time. I don't think he's a must-roster guy. While Vonleh got his minutes back and did nothing. 10 points in 32 minutes, real fringe sort of a player. Next up, we look at the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Bulls win. Their first win of 2019. They'd lost 10 consecutive games before this. That's what happens when you play the Cavs. 104-88. Chris Dunn, 13, 4, and 9. Strong from him. Levine, 25 in 25 minutes with 3 threes and 2 steals. And Punch Bob Shiplock remained on the bench, and curiously his minutes went down for the 3rd consecutive game, just 19 minutes. Now, he's never met a shot he didn't want to take, and he's never met a pass he wanted to make. But 15 points in 19 minutes on usage of 30%, that's okay. I just worry, is he going to stick at 20 minutes a night? He's not good. Like, I think we all should be aware that he's not a good player, but this Bulls team doesn't have good players. 20 minutes a night makes him a hard roster. 25 a night makes him a must roster. So for now, I'll hold. But let's just see where this goes, because if Lopez gets traded or Winnie gets traded, then more minutes are going to open up there for Portis. As for Lopez is a short-term deep league guy. Chandler Hutchison had 8 and 9 in 32 minutes, and Markkanen 13 and 8. He has really, I think a lot of the people that really did get the old stiffy going based on his giant arms in preseason workout shots, I think they'd have to admit they've been a little bit disappointed with where he's progressed so far this season. Yes, the elbow injury is definitely an issue there, but he has not taken really any step forward so far this year. Jabari had 10 points in 12 minutes, yet to crack 20 minutes since re-entering the rotation, and not a 12-team league guy. For the Cavs, Zizic had 13 and 9, a steal and a block, good volume from the line, good percentage from the line. I don't know what's going to happen when Thompson, Love, and Nance come back, but realistically, they should be seeing what Nance and Zizic can do. Thompson should be moved on. They shouldn't be playing him. Love, of course, is the best player there. We don't know when he's coming back. But you want to take a short-term flyer on someone. Zizic is that guy to take a flyer on, I think, on this team. Sexton played well. Actually, let's try again. He scored well. He had 18 points. Took 17 shots to get there. 0 assists as your starting point guard. I've got a 3-year rule. to say whether someone's done or not, he's not good. It's not looking good for him at all as a player. And if I had him in a dynasty league, I'd be trying to extract any sort of value I can out of him. Cameron Payne moved back to the bench, played pretty well, 11-4-3 with 2 steals, still on a 10-day contract, so I don't know exactly what his long-term value is, but there's some deep league appeal there. Clarkson only the 20 minutes for 12 points. Rocket Rodney Hood had 4 points in 27, while Alec Burks had 3 in 17. Just an absolute melange of piss-poor wing players there on the Cavs. This team is just, they're disgustingly bad. They are so, I can't believe they thought they'd push for the playoffs. I know that Kevin Love is out, but God, they're bad. They are so bad. I've said that enough, yeah. The Detroit Pistons and the Washington Wizards. The Wizards win 101-87. Griffin was great, 29, 9, and 4. While Bullock, he's adding assists to his game, really upping that rate, 12, 7, and 4. I still don't view him as a must-roster player in 12-team formats, but the assists are giving him an extra level of value. Pachulia had foul trouble. That's why he played only 24 minutes with Drummond out. 4 and 3 with a steal and a block. He's just a short-term stream guy. While Luke Kennard, the Duck, struggled to 5 points. The Shark, Bruce Brown, had 4, and Kyrie Thomas played 12 minutes. Not a lot to write home about on this Pistons team, who is probably the most unexciting team in the NBA. For the Wizards, Ariza had a strong night, 20 points, 54% shooting, 12 rebounds with 2 triples. He's going to fluctuate quite a bit. While it wasn't Bradley Beal's best night, but he had 16 with 3 blocks, so it's hard to complain. Otto Porter only 26 minutes off the bench, but 19 and 4 is strong, while Satoransky 10, 4, and 8 with 2 steals. Still available in 40% of leagues, Satoransky. No idea why. Make sure he's not on your waiver wire. Jeff Green's minutes are coming down, just 25 here for Greeny, while Tom Bryant, 26 minutes, 11 and 12. Now, Markieff Morris and Dwight Howard's return could happen at any point in the next week or so, and that's going to put a real cramp on what Bryant can do. So, again, if you're looking long-term, then he's probably a guy to move on from, and even when those guys are out, his usage by Scott Brooks is pretty up and down, frustratingly so, but that is what it is. The next game we take a look at, we've got the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks here. The Bucks win 116-106. I've talked about Matthews, Finney-Smith, Doncic, and the pencil. Let's talk about the burner, Jalen Brunson, who played 30 minutes, had 16, 3, and 5, and that looks great. But Dennis Smith Jr. is going to be back next game looking to reconcile with the team. Whether he gets traded or not is still up in the air. So Brunson is more just a deeper league guy, whereas Maxi Kleber only 17 minutes, and the return of Smith's going to put that further in doubt. 8 and 6 with 2 triples. He was worth a flyer, and I think you move on now. On to the Bucks. Malcolm Brogdon's big year continues. 19 and 4, 5 steals and a block. He's been really, really impressive this year. Brook Lopez, another 5 blocks. That's to go with the 6 from last game. He had 16 and 10 with 4 triples, and Yanni had 31 and 15. And Eric Bledsoe, I hope you did buy low because he's turning it on now. 21, 4 and 5 with 2 steals. Chris Middleton's someone I'm worried about. 13 and 8, 33 minutes for Middleton. Just consistently being outplayed by Brogdon, the shots falling away from him. I'm a little worried that he's not going to get... I don't think he's going to get back to being that top 30, top 40 guy. DJ Wilson clearly ahead of Ersan Ilyasova and Thon Maker now as well. While Sterling Brown, an interesting guy for deep dynasties. I really like what he can bring. The next game is the Orlando Magic and the Atlanta Hawks. Vooch was great, 29 and 14, while Fournier is back on track, 29, 3 and 7. He's a must-roster 12-team league guy. And Terry Ross, he's not must-roster 12, but 16, 5 and 7. 7 assists is definitely a surprise.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome.
And he had 3 steals as well, so he's worth adding short-term. While John Isaac had 9 boards, he had a steal, he had 2 blocks. He really is just a defensive specialist, and the minutes were elevated with Aaron Gordon out, while DJ Augustin had 15 points with 4 triples. For the Hawks, DeAndre Bembry, really like this, 11, 2 and 7, 4 steals and 2 blocks for Bembry. Where he fits when everyone's healthy is hard to say. Prince did start in this game and was really bad, and Herder was out. So Herder, I think, goes back into the starting lineup. Does Prince stick there? I don't know. Again, I'm not convinced on Prince as a foundational type of piece. I think that he had a bloody good end to last season that was unsustainable, and he's looked really bad this season. 9 points in 25 minutes for Tory, and Bembry's got that nice 16-team appeal, and even in a 14-team, I'd probably have him. 12, I'm not so sure. The Undertaker, Dwayne Dedman. Yes, 5 triples, 24 points, 9 rebounds, should be rostered in all leagues, although there is that risk of him being traded, while the Baptist John Collins had 14 and 10. As for Prince, I would still have him. I'd still hold him in 12-team leagues, but I'm really looking at that cautiously. Trae Young also had 21 points with 6 assists on 62% shooting. Really strong night from Trae. Next up, the Kings got smacked by the Nets, 123-94. Bogdan Bogdanovic was great, 22, 6, and 11 with 2 steals, while Iman Shumpert played 32 minutes, had 2 steals and 2 blocks, but was a disgusting 1 of 10 from the field. Those defensive numbers are nice. He does have steals value for 12-team leagues. And Nemanja Bjelica, just dreadful. 5 minutes, benched, never returned. Justin Jackson started the second half. Bjelica, there's no reason to have him in 12 or even 14-team leagues at this point. Bagley only the 20 minutes, a little bit disappointing, but I think some of that was matchup based. I like him for 12 team as well. Justin Jackson had one of his nights, 14 points, a steal and a block on 75% shooting. We know he has good games when he shoots well, and then he does nothing in the other one, so I'd be pretty cautious about adding him here. Well, De'Aaron Fox, he's struggling at the moment a bit. 9 points on 14 shots, only 29 minutes. That's something I've been harping on about him, about how the minutes have been reducing 2 or 3 minutes, and the pace the Kings were playing at, that has really pulled back as well. So that is worth monitoring when looking at this team, as they're not playing at that breakneck speed that they were to begin the season. Still holding on to Fox, clearly, but a drop-off is coming, and that seemingly unsustainable 2-point percentage is falling away. D'Angelo Russell, great stuff again. 31, 4, and 8 with 7 triples, while Dinwiddie, 11, 3, and 6, didn't shoot the ball well. He's had a couple of strong games, but a lot of his recent performances haven't been great. He's still a hold, though, while Smoke and Joe Harris had 19 and 7 with 3 triples. And Trevion Graham, does he give up this starting job to Jared Dudley? That remains to be seen. 30 minutes, a triple one, 8 points. He's worth looking at in deeper leagues, is old Trevion. While Rowdy Rodion's Kuruks had 16 points with not much else. Someone asked me today if he's a 30-minute a game goal. Maybe that was yesterday. I don't remember the day. No, he's not. I like him long-term for Dynasty, but he's not really happening for 12-teamers. Nor is Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, 5 points with 2 blocks in his 13 minutes of playing time. Next up, we go to New Orleans. They smacked the Memphis Grizzlies. No Anthony Davis, so Nick Mirotic remained on the bench, but had 21 and 6 with 5 triples, a steal, and 2 blocks. But the big story is Jali Okafor. He rolled out of bed. He had a 20 and 10 game. He had a steal and 2 blocks, and was a fantastic 9 of 11 from the field in 35 minutes. Will he continue to start with Davis out? It sure looks like it, and that makes him worthwhile of adding in 16, 18, 20-team leagues. 14-team is sure. Stream him in 12s, because that production's fantastic. It's not going to stick at that level, but 30 minutes a night, I'll take him, and I'll use him in 12-teamers. Randall had some foul troubles, just the 27 minutes, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists there, and Holiday had 21, 11, and 6. And Etuan Moore was bad. 6 points in 20 minutes, shouldn't be near your 12-team league. For the Grizzlies, just really, really bad again. Bickerstaff is a disgustingly bad coach. And again, I tweeted this out today. I feel sorry for the Grizzlies fans, but their front office brought this on themselves. He should never, never, never have been hired in the first place. Their coaching search was a joke. I don't think they even interviewed anybody else. And he's not a head coach. Simple as that. Conley, 20 points, 8 assists, 4 steals. Strong. Justin Holiday, his third 4-steal game in the last 4 games. 4 steals, 8 points, 2 triples. While Kyle Anderson is out, Holiday is worth grabbing. Gasol had 22, 8, and 6, and Garrett Temple played 38 minutes for God knows what reason, 9, 8, and 4. Jaren Jackson Jr., 31 minutes. Maybe we just need JaMychal Green to foul out in 15 minutes every night so that Bickerstaff will actually play the best young big man in the NBA, maybe. Depends how you're classifying that. Best rookie big man, I think, anyway. 14 and 2 with a block for Jackson. And Green, as I said, fouled out in his 15 minutes. Oh, God, they're bad. Let's go on to the next game, the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Rodney McGruder should not be in the rotation at all. It is definitely trending that way. He started and played only 8 minutes, missed all 3 of his shots. He just needs to go. There's no need for him to be playing at all. Kelly Olynyk was actually a DMP CD in this game. I'd much rather Olynyk play than McGruder, or just give those 8 minutes to Tyler Johnson, Derek Jones, Dion Waiters, whoever. James Johnson also struggled. Jimmy is not making us proud. 18 minutes for 8 points. He's not a 12-team league guy pretty clearly. Tyler Johnson had 9 points in his 28 minutes, more of a 14 to 16 teamer. But let's talk Dion Waiters, who played over 20 minutes for 2 consecutive games, 26 minutes here, 18 points, 2 triples. I look at him as a streamer for points, mainly more for 14-team leagues, but I'm still not having full trust in Spoelstra's rotations. Well, Derek Jones played 29 minutes. He's just as likely to play 17 next game. He had 18 and 9. He had a triple one. He's looked great this year. But it's going to come down to, will they play Jones and Waiters over Magruder and Johnson? And we just don't know at this stage. But Jones is worth grabbing in your 16-teamers and maybe your 14s, and same as Waiters. Winslow, He's not that good. 8, 5, and 6. He's still worth holding in a 12-team league, but that elevated stretch he had at the beginning of the year was not indicative of who he is. And this was a great Bam Adebayo matchup. It played out that way. 28 minutes for Bam, 20 for Whiteside, 13, 7, and 2 for Adebayo, with the 2 blocks there as well.
Bam! 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 Bam!
For the Celtics, Horford had 16 and 12 with 3 blocks and 32 minutes. That's a massive positive. Marcus Morris, the shooting was back, 17 and 4. He's just so reliant on that shot going in for him to provide value, though. Tatum had 19 and Smart had 4 assists and a steal in his 34 minutes. 19 minutes for Gordon Hayward. 10-team leagues, said this a while ago, you can drop him. I think in a 12-team league, unless you're sitting top 2, top 3, I don't see how you can hold him. We're 45, 50 games into the season, over 50% of the way through the year, and he's getting worse. I don't see how you can hold on to Gordon Hayward, and that seems sacrilegious. Also, why is Terry Rozier rostered in 42% of leagues? Stop it. He's not worth it. He's not worth it in that many leagues. I know that for damn sure. The next game, the Philadelphia Sixers. No, that sounds terrible. The Philadelphia 76ers blew out the Houston Rockets 121-93. Ken Farid made his Rockets debut. He played 23 minutes. He had 13 and 6 on 71% shooting. That's exactly what you expect Kenneth Farid to do. So if you want some rebounding, you want some high field goal percentage, you want some scoring, and you want a lack of other stats, then Farid is your guy, at least for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Eric Gordon and Austin Rivers were both really bad. 8 points for Gordon on 2 of 13 shooting, 0 points for Rivers on 0 of 5 shooting. Gordon is a 12-team league guy until Paul returns. Rivers isn't and is more of a 14 to 16-team league player. James Ennis, 31 minutes with those 2 guys struggling. He had 4 steals, but really just a real deep league guy, while PJ Tucker continues to be a strong steal streamer, another 4 for him. Not much else, just the 2 points with a block. And Jimmy Harden didn't even get to 40 points because he sucks. 37 with 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and 6 triples. So still another really good game. Embiid was great. He was questionable. Game time decision. Had 32 and 14 with 2 steals and 3 blocks in just 27 minutes. General soreness, Jim Butler was out of this game. So we had the Corey Brewer experiment. 33 minutes for Brewer as a starter, 11 and 3, 2 steals and 2 blocks, and I would say that Brewer will be signed. He's on a 10-day. I think he'll be signed for the rest of the season. Now that doesn't mean that he's going to be doing this, because he won't be taking Jimmy Butler's spot in the rotation. Furkan Korkmaz was already out of the rotation. He could find himself in a 10 or 11 or 12-minute role. Maybe he takes some minutes from Landry Shamet or TJ McConnell. He's not going to be a 12 or 14 or 16-team useful player, but strong here. Jonah Bolden looks great. A steal and 4 blocks, especially defensively. He's already a better player than Amir Johnson. He's got to challenge Mike Muscala and Baby Neck Wilson Chandler now as well. But yeah, just a name to keep an eye on and a deep league player. As for Baby Neck, he had 14 rebounds in his 27 minutes and was a perfect 4 of 4 from the field, but still just is a deeper league player. Next game we take a look at, we've got the Portland Trailblazers and the Jazz. The Blazers win 109-104. Nurkic, 22, 8 and 7, 1 steal and 6 blocks. What a season Yusuf Nurkic is having. What a game that was from him as well. One of the best steals in fantasy drafts. Lillard had 26, 8 and 8. Jake Layman off the bench got red hot again. 12 points in 25 minutes for Layman. He's more of a deep league point streamer at this point, but he's found himself in the rotation ahead of Source Castillo, Nick Stauskas. While CJ McCollum was bad again. 14, 4 and 4. 35% shooting. Is he a top 70 guy anymore? I don't think so. Harkless did his defensive stuff, steal and a block, and again, if you need those numbers, he can provide that for you. Onto the Jazz. Ravishing Rick Rubio was back. He was on a minutes limit. He came off the bench, 12 points in 14 minutes with 2 assists. Go and grab him if he was dropped. While the Donovan Mitchell, 36, 7 and 5. His run at the moment is fantastic. It might be a sell high moment, but I wouldn't be so sure to do that. While Royce O'Neal, another 37 minutes, 11 and 4, 2 steals and a block. That's not going to last with Rubio back and then Neto and Exum to filter in the next week or so. So O'Neal's been putting up strong numbers, but maybe you could move on in a lot of cases. Rudy Gobert was slated to start and then was late getting out on the court, so the Jazz scrambled and they put Jay Crowder out there with Derek Favors, and then Gobert checked in at the next dead ball. 10 and 13 for him with 4 blocks, while Favors had 3 blocks in his 24 minutes, and Crowder actually played 33 minutes. 15 and 7 with 3 triples for him, but still, he's so inconsistent that you can't really have him as a must-roster 12-team league guy. And a lot of questions coming in about Jingle and Joe, who was bad here. 2 points, 6 assists in 37 minutes. His shooting is so way off this season that it is concerning. In most cases, I would hold on to him, but you're asking that question, are you going to drop him? The question always is, who are you adding? Are you adding Ante Zizic? I probably wouldn't do that. Are you adding Ken Farid? I probably wouldn't do that. Are you adding Thomas Satoransky? Shit, yes, I would do that. Where are you in the standings? Are you 8th and needing immediate production? Ingles just isn't cutting it. You've got to cut your losses and get someone in. You've got to stream that spot. Fine. Are you sitting in 3rd and you just want to drop him because he's pissing you off? What's the point? Hold on. There's so many variables that come into those sort of decisions and discussions. The last game of the night was a destruction as well. The Warriors beat the Lakers 130-111. Klay Thompson, remember how bad he was to begin the season? Well, he is absolutely on fire at the moment. He hit his first 10 threes in this game. Ended up 10 of 11, had 44 points on 85% shooting. What? With a block as well. He is, over the last 2 weeks, the 9th ranked player because he's hitting 5 threes a game, scoring 28 points a game, and doing it on 57% shooting. Numbers which, of course, they won't stick, much like that poor shooting at the beginning of the season wasn't going to stick. 57% and 51% from 3 isn't going to stick there, and that field goal percentage is easily his second best category behind the 3. So those numbers are set to decline, yeah, that's obviously really, really good numbers from Klay Thompson in this game. Durant was strong, but let's talk Boogie Cousins. 21 minutes, foul trouble got him again, but the encouraging thing is he played 21 minutes. I think by post-trade deadline, I think he's going to be playing 30 minutes a night. 8, 9, and 5, 2 of 9. Now, he's been really inefficient, but the fact that he played 21 minutes in his second game back, I think by the All-Star break, I say trade deadline, I meant All-Star break, whichever one I said I meant All-Star. I think he's playing 30 minutes a night, which is massive. I didn't think he'd get to that until we got to April, really. Steph had 11, not a great night from him. Draymond had 7 assists and 3 steals, and Durant had 20 points with 3 blocks. For the Lakers, Ivica Zubac looks to be clearly their best center. 21 minutes, 18 and 4 with a block. You've still got the problem of Tyson Chandler and JaVale McGee there. Chandler played only 8 minutes and McGee played 19. It's hard to say how those minutes are going to go. Chandler shouldn't really be starting at all. It needs to be Zubac. It needs to be 26, 27 minutes of Zubac. And I think he's a grab in... Look, in most 12-teamers, I would consider that a really strong option. The hitman Josh Hart had foul trouble, 6 points with 2 triples in 20 minutes. Rondo is likely to be back on Thursday. LeBron could be back. So I don't think Hart's going to be able to sustain 12-team value, while Brandon Ingram, his numbers are set to dip. And I think the future MVP, Kyle Kuzma's, are as well. He struggled. He has 16 points in 33 minutes. Caldwell Pope, just 4 points in 21 minutes. And he was a nice, interesting short-term guy. But, yeah, again, that's not going to last when Rondo and then LeBron eventually return for this team. All right, let's transition this now and talk some DFS, the 4 games that we've got coming up on, what day is it? On Tuesday. Let's get into that. That's the wrong button. Apologies for that. That's the one I want to push. All right, let's look at the perfect lineup. On DraftKings, it's hard because their slate was spread all over the place. So we'll just do a perfect lineup for FanDuel for the all-day 11-game slate. Conley, Kyrie, Wes Matthews, D'Angelo Russell, DeAndre Bembry, Derek Jones Jr., Eddie Davis, Derek Favors, and Joel Embiid for a total of 418.3, and that cost $59,900 dues. Alright guys, let's take a look now at DFS for Tuesday. A light 4-game slate in the NBA. We're going to be focusing mainly on DraftKings pricing today. The first game we take a look at is the Sacramento Kings on a back-to-back, taking on the Toronto Raptors in Toronto. The Raptors are 11-point favorites. The total is 228.5. 3 games have had the totals released, and curiously enough, they are all either 228 or 228.5. So that's a pretty weird little anomaly there. Let's look at this game. The Kings on that back-to-back. De'Aaron Fox struggling a little bit, just the 23 points against the Nets. He's at 7,300. His numbers haven't quite been where they've been for the majority of the season, as I've mentioned previous podcasts that his playing time has reduced of late as well. What we are seeing with the Kings at the moment, it's not just Fox, is that high tempo pace they were running to begin the season, that's really, really dropped. And over the last couple of months, you've seen their pace really reduce. And we'll see if that can catch up with them as the season goes on. But 7,300 for Fox. He struggled to get to that level over the last week or so. So I think he's okay, but it is a negative matchup on a back-to-back. I'd probably end up leaving him alone. The only reason you consider him is the limited slate. Kyle Lowry is at 7,600. I'd take him over Fox any day of the week, given the rest. he's a better player. It's only $300 more. That is the direction I would go. Delon Wright, Yogi Ferrell, Fred VanVleet. I don't think there's much to see with those guys. Bogdanovic is at a very good price, $5,200. He dropped 51 against the Nets. I really like this price for Bogdan. He should be a 30-point guy, one of the strongest options on the board at that salary. Or Danny Green at 4,800. He could obviously explode, or he could give you 10 points, and that's always the concern with Green, is what level of consistency, making him just a GPP guy, while Bud Hield at 6,900. Is that a little bit too expensive for Bud? Yeah, I think it's getting to that level. Probably wouldn't be too interested in him at that sort of an elevated salary. Iman Shumpert not really in the discussion either. The fun guy, Kawhi Leonard.
I'm a fun guy.
Love him here at 9,300. There aren't that many big money guys on this slate. Leonard is one of them, and he's the one that you should be looking at. Justin Jackson started the second half for the Kings. He's a $3,500 guy. He had a strong game on Monday. His consistency is always a worry. He does nothing apart from score, and his efficiency really, really changes. He can be a 70% guy, then a 20% guy. He's that sort of all over the place, making him just a tournament sort of a guy. But he's absolutely in consideration. Bielitsa isn't. For the big men, Bagley's at 5,000. I don't like that if you only got 20 minutes in today's game against the Nets. It's a bit of a different matchup against the Raptors, but not all that different. The Raptors aren't a hugely big team, so he'd just be a tournament player. Ibaka's at 59. I like that for Ibaka. Siakam at 63. I think he's okay, but I'd rather save the $400 and take Serge personally, although the upside for Siakam is probably a little bit higher. Cauley Stein, I don't see much there, nor do I see it with Harry Giles. Over on FanDuel, I like Bogdanovic, I like Leonard a lot. I like Hield much more on FanDuel at 6,000. Lowry at 83 is okay, and Fox at 8,000 still just a little bit too highly priced. The 6,900 for Siakam is, I think that's probably too high, but again, he does have 60-point upside, which makes him interesting for a tournament at least. Let's go on to the next game now. For Tuesday, it is the Portland Trailblazers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are favored by 5.5 points. Both of these teams are coming off a back-to-back. The total, as I mentioned earlier, is 228. It's probably the best matchup of the entire day for us to look at. Mo Harkless is one we want to check on. He started on Monday's game, but it is a back-to-back. Will he play in it? I would have to venture the guess and say yes, but we're not sure at this point whether he will remain in the lineup on the back-to-back, recovering from that knee issue. At point guard, you've got Westbrook versus Lillard, so a bunch of really good point guards here. Obviously, Lillard is at 8,100. Really like him here. Westbrook at 11,000. I think I'd prefer Lillard to Westbrook, saving myself that 3,000, but Westbrook's giving you 50, 55 a night at the moment, and that's a pretty good return on $11,000. Schroeder's at 5,400, and while the numbers are okay, I don't think they're really that great for 5,400. I think the floor is a bit shaky. The upside's a little bit limited as well. For the shooting guards, CJ McCollum's at 6,000. Strong game last time out, 37 points, and has done well against the Thunder in the past, averaging 41 the last 3 times out against this team. But I'm not fully sold on him being an option. He's in play, but he's not a great one. Ferguson, Turner, MC Hamidou Diallo, Seth Curry, I don't see any of those guys being options. But the Chief, Al-Farouq Aminu, I do. 5,100. I'm on board with the Chief now. He's giving us 30 a night. I like him here. Sure as shit he's going to bite me in the ass, but I do like that sort of salary. While Mo Harkless at 4,000 again, I think that's probably just a little bit risky given the uncertainty whether he will play. Paul George at 9,700 looms as a really good option. For the big man, Steve Adams, 6,200. I love that salary for Adams. It's down $3,000 from last time. I love the matchup for him. He looks strong. While Nurkic at 75. Not quite as good of a situation as Adams. Adams obviously a really good defensive big man. Nurkic has the ability to put up more numbers, but on a production to salary basis, I probably look at Adams more there. Jeremy Grant at 53. I think that is as rock solid as a cash play as you can get. Myers Leonard, Zach Collins probably not going to do it for me. On FanDuel, looking at Aminu, I'm looking at Paul George, looking at Westbrook as strong options. I think Jeremy Grant is okay, but not as good. Whereas CJ McCollum, I think, comes out as a better option on FanDuel than he does over on DraftKings. Let's go on to the next game. We've got the LA Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. This is a game with no spread or total at this point. We don't know the status of Lou Williams. The Rooster Danilo Gallinari is out while Lou is questionable. Last game we saw Montrezl Harrell in the starting lineup. I think with Gallinari out, we will see Harrell remain in the starting lineup. and Beverly will probably move into that spot as well, giving those guys minutes. And if Lou Williams goes out, it bumps Beverly, it bumps Bradley, and it bumps Gilgeous-Alexander pretty aggressively. At point guard, therefore, the two big value plays on this slate, I think, are 4,700 for Pat Beverly and 3,900 for Gilgeous-Alexander. I feel better about Beverly as a cash guy. Gilgeous-Alexander, more of a 40-point upside tournament play, but at 3,900, that's a great option. Well, for the Mavericks, Dennis Smith Jr. will be rejoining the team. I'm not sure his roster percentage will be all that high, but I like him as a flyer GPP guy. While the burner, Jalen Brunson, have been putting in some good numbers, and his minutes look okay. It looks like Maxi Kleber might get a bit of the chop here. So Brunson at 37 is not bad value. For the shooting guards, Williams is at 67, Lou Williams. Yeah, look, coming off a hammy, I'd probably fade that. While Doncic at 8,900, had his first triple-double today. He had 52 the last time against the Clippers. He is rock solid for a cash play. Wesley Matthews at 43, really strong today, especially in his defensive numbers, which is not something that we really look at too often from Wes. But I think at 43, he is worth a look. And then the small forwards, there's very little to see. The pencil Harrison Barnes is struggling. Dorian Finney-Smith had 30 today in 33 minutes, but with Smith returning, is he going to lose playing time? I would say almost definitely. And then for the big men, I like DeAndre Jordan. Centers have historically this season done really well against the Clippers. He's at 7,000. He had 50 the last time these teams met. I like DeAndre quite a bit here. And Gortat, I don't like. As for the table, Montrezl Harrell, he's at 7,800. I think that's probably just a little bit too highly priced for Montrez. On DraftKings, DeAndre, Dennis Smith, Pat Beverly, Doncic, Montrez, Toby Harris. Toby Harris I like on FanDuel as well. I just realized I completely mucked that up, and I did the FanDuel pricing for that game, so I do apologize. All those ones I was talking about with FanDuel. For DraftKings, I do like DeAndre quite a bit. I like Dennis Smith, Patrick Beverly, and Doncic. Montrez at 6,800 on DraftKings comes in pretty strong too, while Toby Harris I like at $8,000 over on DraftKings. A lot of value appearing on that game on the DraftKings slate. All right. Let's go to the last game of the day. It is the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Phoenix Suns. When I prepared that graphic, there was no spread or total, but now there is. The Wolves are favored by 6, and the total is 228.5. DeAndre Ayton is doubtful, while Richaun Holmes is questionable. Now, of course, that's a ton of value. If Ayton is out and Holmes starts, and he is a must-roster player. If both of them are out, we saw Quincy Acey and Dragan Bender take up that role, and we saw Karl Anthony Towns go absolutely off on the other side of the equation the last time these two teams played, which was the last game. At point guard, Devin Booker's at 8,300. I like that for Booker, really strong. Jeff Teague at 59, I think I'd probably fade.
My name is Jeff.
D'Anthony Melton's hard to use him, while Derrick Rose at 6,300. Strong game from Rose last time, 40 points in 38 minutes. Some of that came because Teague was limited. I think Rose is more of a GPP guy here. Okobo, Crawford, Bayless, no. Shooting guard, Oubre, 5,600, putting up massive numbers. His lowest score in his last 5 has been 30, so I'm happy to get on board with him. While Andy Wiggins is at 5,800 because he has been just straight trash. But that means his roster percentage in GPPs, I think, will be low. I think he's worth throwing into a tournament. McCall Bridges, I don't really see it. Same with Okogie. For the small forwards, you got TJ Warren at 5,700. Yeah, pretty strong floor guy for cash. Tournaments, I'm not so sure. Or Joshy Jackson, I'm not interested in him all that much. And then the big man, Holmes at 4,100 is the biggest no-brainer of the lot if he happens to play, while Towns at 10,600 is one of the best high-price options on the board. Taj Gibson, Dario Saric, Gorgie Jang, I don't see value in any of those guys. And Bender at 4,000, he had 31 last game. If Holmes is out, then he becomes that guy that you want to look at in cash and in tournaments. On FanDuel, same sort of deal. Towns and Booker look really strong. Oubre at 61 also looks pretty good, and Holmes at 46 becomes probably the play of the day if he is actually ruled in and ready to go, which at this point we don't know. On DraftKings, my stud of the day is Townsy, and my value play is DeAndre Jordan. On FanDuel, my stud is Towns, and my value is Pat Beverly. On Yahoo, my stud is Towns. There's a pattern there. And my value play is Wes Matthews. And on DraftStars, my stud is Towns, and my value play is Patrick Beverly. Don't forget to check out the rest of the podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Check out your favorite team by getting your smart speaker and tell it to play the podcast Locked On, insert team name here, Locked On Clippers, Locked On Lakers, Locked On Grizzlies for all your Bickerstaff shade that can get thrown. Maybe less than I throw on this show, but we'll see how that goes. Follow me on Twitter at @redrock_Beeble, and if you can, leave a 5-star rating on iTunes. It's a great way of helping out the show. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya. Enes Kanter.